Because in the 9th verse, the 9th chapter, is going to be flashback. Oh, now, Narada is asking the questions to Brahma. And then again, Parikshit Maharaj is asking the questions to Sukadeva Goswami. Narada has given this knowledge to Vyasa. Vyasa has given this knowledge to his son Sukadeva Goswami. Now, the last verse speaks that I shall explain this knowledge in detail that has been given. Whatever the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam has been now explained in detail. And what is the detailing? Atra Sarga, what are the subject matters in Bhagavatam? Creation, subcreation, the place, sthanam. Sthanam means the planetary systems, poshanam, how to protection. Poshanam means protection. Utayha, the creative impetus. Manvantara, changes of Manu. Ishanukatha, the signs of God. Nirodho, how to go back to God. The Mukti, liberation. Ashrayaha, the Sammanbhana. So in this way, 10 subject matter has been given. Ashraya Tattva is kept separate. The 9 subject matters, Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanam Iha Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmanaha Shrutinarthena Anjasaha. 9 subject matters has been described by the Mahatmas, how Varnayanti, how they have described by Vedic evidences, Shrutena, Arthena, by giving explanations, Anjasaha, summarily. But Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham, for that there is nothing like, because 10th subject matter is Ashraya Tattva, and Krishna's pastime has not been taught by giving some Anjasaha, imaginary explanations, nothing. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham, which is completely pure. Dashamasya Vishuddhi Artham. It is not only pure, it is isolated. Completely isolated. Vishuddhi means isolated. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanam Iha Lakshanam. Only 9 subject matters has been defined. You are going to explain something which is like complicated. So that is why explanation is necessary. Something which is simple. Just go and take shelter of your parents. That is the most simple thing, isn't it? So Ashraya Tattva is the most simplest subject. Just go and take shelter. What is that to explain in that? But Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, 14 planetary systems, impetus, Manvantara, Ishanukataha, how to go back to God, and Nirodho, Mukti, they are the subjects to be explained. Varnayanti, Mahatmana, Shrutenarthena, Anjasa, they are the subjects to be explained. But for Ashraya Tattva, it is Vishuddhyartham. It is just kept separated. Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham, Navanam Iha Lakshanam. So we have to understand it very nicely. Only 9 subject matters has been explained by Varnayanti Mahatmanaha Shrute na Arthenaha Anjasa. 3 ways. Shrutena means through the Vedic evidences. Arthena, giving direct explanations. Anjasaha, concocting some stories to explain that principle. Okay. Like Navadvara Puranjana story has been explained. So all these things. Now let us see the third one. Bhutamatindriya dhiyam janma sarga udartaha brahmano guna vaishamyad visarga paurushah smrutaha. Bhutamatindriya dhiyam janma sarga udartaha brahmano guna vaishamyad visarga paurushah smrutaha. Bhutamatindriya. Matra, Indriya. The 5 gross elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay. Then, Matra, objects of the senses. And the senses. So, objects of the senses. Sound, form, taste, smell, touch. Indriya, ears respective. Ears, eyes, ears. Now, sound, it should be actually ears first. ears, then eyes, then tongue, then skin, and then nose, respective senses. And then what is given? Mind, man, diya, man. This is creation. This is all the manifestation of creation. Then, whereas subsequent resultant interaction of the modes of material nature is called visarga. Nice explanation. So, what is visarga? Subcreation. So, first thing what Lord does is he gives his first 5 basic elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then he gives sense objects, senses, and the mind. And then later, what is so Udharata, this is called creation. The person, Guna Vaishamyat, by the interaction of the 3 modes of material creation, there is Visarga, recreation, and Paurushaha, resultant activities. This is known as Visarga. So, what happens? The Indriyas come in contact with the sense objects. Now, when it comes in contact with the sense objects, how it is influenced by the modes of material nature. So, Visarga comes in the modes of material nature. How the action starts with the effect of everything is created. Sense object is there, senses is there, earth, water, fire, and ether is there. Everything is there. But if you don't have modes, how will the action start? It is the modes of material nature, pradhana, which makes the modes come in contact. The modes make the senses come in contact with the sense objects. And then the karmic reactions and all that starts. Visarga, sub-creation. Consequent action. First action is just create everything. Like you have atta, you have belan, you have chakla. Fire is only not there. What you are going to make puris? Some initiating thing should be there, na? That fire is the 3 modes of material nature. Bade Prabhu, mute your phone. So that fire is the 3 modes of material nature. If fire is there, then only the next action starts. There is a next creation. From that atta puri came. You are not going to eat the raw atta. Actually, what you are eating is atta only, but in a different way. You have to understand this. Then creation. Creation means elements has been given to Brahmaji. Now do whatever you want with that. And if he has to do something with that, then for him 3 modes of material nature is required. Then only dog's body, pigeon's body, human body, everything is dependent on modes of material nature. How intense is Sato? How intense is Rajo? How intense is Tama? In that way, the different bodies, different creations are dependent on the modes of material nature, and that is the work of Brahmaji. Okay. Farmers can give us atta, and tawa, biva, some another person can give us. But ultimately, how to make? It all depends on that who is cooking. In the same way, Brahmaji is the next cook. The first is provided by Lord. Then he is cooking, depending on the modes of material nature. Okay. Vrindavan Lila Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, from where should I start? Third verse.
Third verse.
Bhuta matrendriya dhiya janma sarga udahitah brahmano guna vaishamya visarga paurasha smritah. The elementary creation of 16 items of matter, namely the 5 elements, fire, water, land, air, and sky. Sound, form, taste, smell, touch, and the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and mind is known as sarga, whereas subsequent resultant interaction of the modes of material nature is called visarga. In order to explain the 10 divisional symptoms of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 7 continuous verses. The first of these under reference pertains to the 16 elementary manifestations of earth, water, etc., with material ego composed of material intelligence and mind. The subsequent creation is a result of the reactions of the above mentioned 16 energies of the first Purusha, the Mahavishnu incarnation of Govinda, as later explained by Brahma in his treatise Brahma Samhita as follows. Yah karnanave jale bhajati sma yoga nidra mananta jagadanda saroma आधार शक्तिम अवलंब्य पराम स्वमूर्तिम गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. The first Purusha incarnation of Govinda, Lord Krishna, known as the Mahavishnu, goes into a yoga nidra, mystic sleep, and the innumerable universes are situated in potency in each and every hair hole of his transcendental body. As mentioned in the previous verses, Shrutena, or with reference to the Vedic conclusions, the creation is made possible from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly by manifestation of his particular energies. Without such a Vedic reference, the creation appears to be a product of material nature. This conclusion comes from a poor fund of knowledge. From Vedic reference, it is concluded that the origin of all energies, namely internal, external, and marginal, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as explained here and before, the illusory conclusion is that creation is made by the inert material nature. The Vedic conclusion is transcendental light, whereas the non-Vedic conclusion is material darkness. The internal potency of the Supreme Lord is identical with the Supreme Lord, and the external potency is enlivened in contact with the internal potency. The parts and parcels of the internal potency which react in contact with the external potency are called the marginal potency or the living entities. Thus, the original creation is directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Param Brahman, and the secondary creation as a reactionary result of the original ingredients is made by Brahma. Thus, the activities of the whole universe are started. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So activities of the whole universes have started just because of Brahma getting the authority for Visarga. And for that, the Pradhana is given to him. That is, the three modes of material nature has been given. Now, the basic five elements, senses, sense objects has been given. Now the question. Fourth verse.
Mataji, just a second. Does it mean that here mind and all have not come into picture, because that comes
Mind
only...
has come now. Mind also has been given. Now in that mind, how that reactions happen is because of the three modes of material nature. Mind also has been given.
Means it's in inchoate form, because then false ego
Mind
will
is now
interact
in
with goodness.
the Shuddhi, sleeping form.
Okay. Then 10 controlling devatas and all, they will come later, Mataji, in Visarga.
All will come later. See, anyhow in the mind, impressions are there. It's not blank.
Yes.
Impressions are there. Now for the next creation, this mind has to activate with those impressions. For that, three modes are necessary.
Okay.
Modes are required, na? If modes are not there, impressions are there. Like I want to do something good. But for that, I should have a goodness, no? I should have this factor of goodness. Then only I can do. Desire is there. Mind is a place where you desire.
Yes.
Thinking, willing, feeling, desire. Desire is at the level of mind. So Lord has given the mind also. Now, that desire to fulfill, three modes are also necessary.
Yes.
Like I want to do japa. Morning time is full of satoguna. Days also will be in the whole day, the three modes of material nature function.
Yes.
Desire is to I should earn more. Then the day should be filled with passion also. If the day doesn't have passion, then how will you go and work? So it is not only three modes in our body, the three modes in the universe also. To work again, there is like a farmer wants to go and work in the farms. It is passion which gives the clouds. The rains are because of the passion. So again, everything is dependent on these three modes.
Yes.
Rains are not goodness. Rains are passion. Creation. Passion means creation. Because of rains, grains are created. Grains grow.
Yes.
Goodness is like where you are calm, peaceful, where you are very, like you can go inside like this. That is goodness. Goodness is something which is little beyond creation. But for again maintenance, goodness is necessary for maintenance. But for destruction, you need tamas. So even if something has to be destroyed, tamas should be there. If tamas is not there in the nature, and tamas is not there within you also, you cannot destroy anything. Destruction, maintenance, and creation.
Means gunas are present, but they are not active. They are in an inactive state. And when the visarga starts, then they become active and
Lord
they
gives the
activate.
pradhana.
Yes, pradhana.
Lord gives that control of pradhana. It's not that pradhana is not there. That control of pradhana, using of pradhana to Brahma. How to use and where to use. Like upper planetary systems, more of sato is there. In Swarga, a lot of passion is there. More higher you go in upper planetary systems, you have a lot of sato guna. So again, to shift people to upper 14th planetary system, atra sarga visarga, sthanam.
Yes.
The sthanam is dependent on your nature. So many, you can go on thinking where these modes. Again, lower planetary system, a lot of tamas is there. Earthly planetary system, a lot of rajas is there. Rajas is up to, the rajas reaches the topmost till the swarga. Enjoying nature. Rajas wants to enjoy. That reaches the topmost. Rajas is for enjoyment also. Rajas is for creation. We are creating to enjoy now.
Yes.
If you don't want to enjoy, then why create also?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
now it is clear, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, the three modes, it is there in an inert form. Chup chap. But that has been given for Brahma to apply wherever necessary according to the karmas. Again, according to the karmas, everything one gets according to his karma. Okay, 1 minute. Now, fourth one. Sthiti Vaikunta Vijayaha Poshanam Tad Anugraha Manvantarani Sadharma Utayaha Karmavasanaha. Sthiti, right situation. Vaikunta Vijayaha, the victory of Lord of Vaikuntha. Poshanam, maintenance. Tad Anugraha, his causeless mercy. Manvantarani, reign of the Manus. Sadharma, perfect occupational duty. Utayaha, impetus to work. Karma vasana, desire for fruity work. Right situation for the living entities is to obey the law of nature, law of Lord, and thus be in perfect peace of mind under the protection of the Lord. The Manus and their laws are meant to give right direction in life. The impetus for activity is the desire for fruitive work. Now, right situation for the living entity is what? Sthiti. Sthiti means the right situation. Just be dependent on the maintenance of Vaikunta Vijaya. Just be dependent on Lord. And depend on His mercy. That is how Lord has created Manus. Manus and their laws. Manu means the one who is the head of all the mankind. And for them, the laws have been given so that they can give right direction. Perfect occupational duty, impetus to work, and desire for fruitive work. So impetus for activity is the desire for fruitive activity. So impetus for any activity is what? Impetus means utayaha. What is that utayaha? Now see, let us see what is going on. Atra sarga visarga. Third verse spoke on sarga and visarga. Sthanam, poshanam, utaya. Three things are spoken in this verse. What is that sthanam? That sthanam means We say planetary systems. Actually, sthanam is what? Taking shelter of Lord. You be in any planetary system, you take shelter of Lord. That is sthanam. And poshanam depend on his mercy. That is actually poshanam. We say, I am in this planet, that planet. Actually, what it is, sthanam. You be in his care. Sthanam. See how much deep is the meaning. General meaning is 14 planetary system. But then, even in the hellish planet, you be dependent on him. Suppose by your one's karma, one goes to the down planetary system, doesn't matter. The sthanam should be, I should always be at shelter. And that is how he protects me, Poshana. What is that Uttayaha, that impetus for doing? That impetus is because one desires fruitive activity. That is why Uttayaha. So Uttayaha is the impetus. And what is that impetus behind any activity? Desire for the fruits. Uttayaha. And that is where one's sthanam changes. The desire for the fruits, the desire to have fruits, makes him do variety of activities. And these variety of activities is dependent on three modes of material nature, visarga. You can connect all. And because of the three modes of material nature, one does variety of activities. That is why he gets different positions in different planetary systems. But in every situation, if one remembers the Lord, that sthanam becomes purified. Consciousness becomes purified. Sthanam. Victory of the Lord of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha Vijaya. This Vaikuntha Vijaya has a deeper meaning also. If one understands that he is always in the shelter of Lord, can conquer Vaikuntha. Can conquer all the miseries. Vaikuntha, no kuntha. He can conquer Lord. He can bind Krishna within the heart. Ajitaha can be jitaha. Jnane prayasam udapasya namanti eva jivanti sanmukharita bhavadiya vartam sthane stitam. Sthane stitam. You got that word? Sthane stitam. Wherever you are, be there. Sthane stitam shrutikata envan manobhir ye prayaso jito ajito api asitre strilokyam. Wherever you are, in whatever sthanam you are, you can conquer that ajitaha within your heart. That is why it is Vaikuntha Vijayaha. These words can be compared to that words, Jnani, Stitam, Jnani, Prayasam, Udapasya, Namanti eva. Leave aside all the speculative knowledge. Jivanti Sanmukharitam Bhavadiya Vartam. Always remember to hear the Lord's glories. Here also to say the same thing, the right situation. What is the right situation? Obey to the law of Lord. That means you have to hear now first what is the law of Lord. Law of Lord has been given in Bhagavad Gita. What Lord wants. So here, sthani sitam shutikatam tanuan manobhi ye prayaso jito ajito pi astri siloki. So the impetus for activity is a desire for fruitive work. If the same impetus is just for achieving Krishna, then that becomes a karma. Okay. Actually, one verse is so beautiful. Is Poshanam is tad anugraha. How is that maintenance? Maintenance is Krishna's mercy. For maintaining, sometimes Krishna has to thrash also. The thrashing is also Krishna's mercy. There is also maintenance also. Like you have to maintain your child. Sometimes he does wonderful activity, you praise him. Sometimes he is notorious and you have to thrash him. There is also maintenance only. Somebody asked me today, how your Gurukul children are maintained? I told we are very strict. No, he doesn't eat anything in the house. But I told we frown. They eat everything. And don't worry, that is also for his maintenance only. So for maintenance, whatever is required, we have to give that. Okay. Arunadhi?
Hare Krishna. Text 4. Sthiti Vaikunta Vijaya Poshanam Tadanugraha Manvantarani Sadharma Utaya Karma Vasanaha. Translation: the right situation for the living entities is to obey the laws of the Lord and thus be in perfect peace of mind under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Manus and their laws are meant to give right direction in life. The impetus for activity is a desire for fruitive work. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The material world is created, maintained for some time, and again annihilated by the will of the Lord. The ingredients for creation and the subordinate creator, Brahma, are first created by Lord Vishnu in his first and second incarnations. The first Purusha incarnation is Mahavishnu, and the second Purusha incarnation is the Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, from whom Brahma is created. The third Purusha Avatara is Shirodakshayi Vishnu, who lives as the super soul of everything in the universe and maintains the creation generated by Brahma. Shiva is one of the many sons of Brahma and he annihilates the creation. Therefore, the original creator of the universe is Vishnu and he is also the maintainer of the created beings by his causeless mercy. As such, it is a duty of all conditioned souls to acknowledge the victory of the Lord and thus become pure devotees and live peacefully in this world where miseries and dangers are always in existence. The conditioned souls who take this material creation as the place for satisfaction of the
Haribol. Why
senses,
your voice is not heard? Aruna?
again gone, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
माता जी हम सुन सकते हैं माता जी.
ठीक है सुनिए बोलिए.
The conditioned
मेरे यहाँ
souls who take this material creation as a place for satisfaction of the senses and thus are illusioned by the external energy of Vishnu remain again to be subjected to the laws of material nature, creation and destruction. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that beginning from the topmost planet of the universe, this universe, down to the lowest planet, Patal Loka, all are destructible. And the conditioned souls may travel in space either by good or bad work or by modern spacecraft, but they are sure to die everywhere, although the duration of the life in different planets is different. The only means to attain eternal life is to go back home, back to Godhead, where there is no more rebirth as in the material planets. The conditioned souls, being unaware of the very simple fact because of forgetting their relationship with the Lord of Vaikuntha, try to plan out a permanent life in this material world. Being illusioned by the external energy, they thus become engaged in various types of economic and religious development, forgetting that they are meant for going back home, back to Godhead. This forgetfulness is so strong due to the influence of Maya that the conditioned souls do not at all want to go back home, back to Godhead. By the sense enjoyment, they become victims of birth and death repeatedly and thus spoil human lives, which are chances for going back to Vishnu. The directive scriptures made by the Manus in different ages and millenniums are called Saddharma, good guidance for the human beings who should take advantage of all the revealed scriptures for their own interest to make life's successful termination. The creation is not false, but it is a temporary manifestation just to give a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead. The desire to go back to Godhead and functions performed in that direction form the right path of work. When such a regulative path is accepted, the Lord gives all protection to his devotees by his causeless mercy, while the non-devotees risk their own activities to bind themselves in the chain of fruitive actions. The word Sadharma is significant in this connection. Sadharma, or duty performed for going back to Godhead and thus becoming his unalloyed devotee, is the only pious activity. All others may pretend to be pious, but actually they are not. It is for this reason only, that the Lord advises in the Bhagavad Gita that one should give up all so-called religious activities and completely engage in the devotional service of the Lord to become free from all anxieties due to the dangerous life of material existence. To work situated in Sadharma is the right direction of life. One's aim of life should be to go back home, back to Godhead, and not be subjected to repeated births and deaths in the material world by getting good or bad bodies for temporary existence. Herein lies the intelligence of human life, and one should desire the activities of life in that way. Hare Krishna.
So what is the last line saying? Repeat. The last line saying.
Herein lies the intelligence of human life. One should desire the activities of life in that way. Okay, one's aim of life should be to go back home, back to Godhead, and not be subjected to repeated births and deaths in the material world by getting
So for
good
that, one has to
or
apply
bad
this
bodies.
intelligence.
Yeah.
Buddhi yoga. So here comes Buddhi yoga. We are not just interested in karma yoga. It should be Buddhi yoga. Because Uttaya speaks about karma. But we are not much interested in karma. We are interested in karma yoga, which is actually Buddhi yoga. Karma yoga, Buddhi yoga, both are same only. That means apply the intelligence to go back to God. It is Lord who protects us. That is also another meaning is Vaikuntha Vijaya. He cuts our miseries. He removes our miseries. So, Sarga, Visarga, Sasana, portion we say Manvantara. Now, next is that Avataranucharitam Hares Chasyanuvarnita Vartinam Pumsam Ishakatha Prukta Nanakhyanopabramhita Avataranucharitam Manvantara. Incarnations of God. In every Manavantara, Ishanu Katha, there is Isha Katha. That means there is hint of God. In every Manu, there is an incarnation. So that is why Avataranu Charitam, Haresh Chasyanu Varanitam. One has to Anuvaranitam. There are followers. The followers means his great devotees. And Isha Katha includes what? The Varanitam, of whom Anuvaranitam. Varanitam means activities. And description of that activities is known as Isha Katha. Not only his activities, activities of his devotees also. So both is known as Ishanukatha. So Manvantaraha Ishanukatha. Akhyanaha. Akhyana means narrations. Upabramita means description. So Avataranu Charitam, Anucharitam, Haresh Chasyanu Varanitam, Vartinam. Haresh Chasyanu Vartinam. Anuvartinam. Anuvartinam means his followers. So Ishanu Katha includes Hari Katha and Bhakta Katha. Hari Katha, Bhakta Katha. And Manavantara includes Avatara. Manavantara. Manavantara. That is Avatara. In every Manu, Lord appears. And his activities of his followers. Description of that is known as Ishanu Katha. Again, two subject matters has been spoken here. Raksha Mataji read.
Hare Krishna. Shloka 5. Avataranucharitam Hare Swashanuvartinam Pumsam Isha Katha Prokta Nanakhyanopabhrumhita. Translation. The science of God describes the incarnation of the personality of Godhead in his different activities together with the activities of his great devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. During the course of the existence of the cosmic manifestation, the chronology of the history is created, recording and the activities of the living entities. People in general have a tendency to learn the history and narration of different men and times. But due to the lack of knowledge in the science of Godhead, they are not apt to study the history of the incarnation of the personality of Godhead. It should always be remembered that the material creation is created for the salvation of the conditioned soul. The merciful Lord, out of his causeless mercy, descends to various planets in the material world and acts for the salvation of the conditioned soul. That makes the history and narrations worth reading. Srimad Bhagavatam offers such transcendental topics of the Lord in relationship with the great devotees. Therefore, the topics of the devotees and the Lords are to be given respectful oral reception. Hare Krishna, Madam.
Yes. So one has to hear to the topics of Lord and his devotees. Now, Nirodho Mukti. Nirodhosyanushayam atmanah saha shaktivihi muktir hitvanyatha rupam sarupena vyavastitihi. You have read this, no? This line. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam sarupena vyavastitihi. Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, first introduction itself, we have this Mukti hitvanyatha rupam sarupena vyavastitihi. So what is Mukti? What is Nirodho? Asyanu shayanam, winding up. Nirodha means winding up. Anushayanam, the lying down of the Purusha incarnation. When Lord wants to wind up. Nirodha. Saha Shakti Bihi, along with the energies. He has to wind up now all the living entities along with his energies. So what is now Mukti? This winding up is okay, giving up everything, but how to go? When we understand that we are servants of Lord Krishna, then only we can go to his abode. The Lord is desiring to wind up. Again, in that wind up, he will put everybody in his womb, in his stomach. So everybody goes in his stomach. Only few go back to Godhead. That is who? One who understands his Sarupa. Mukti itvanyatha rupam sarupena vyavastitihi. He is always situated in his Sarupa, and he is eligible to go to Vaikuntha. Or now the winding up has started, that is resolution. Nirodho speaks about resolution. Ishanu Katha Manvantara speaks about Lord coming in these planetary systems and performing the activities. The Lord wants to wind up all the 14 planetary systems, Swaha. And in that, some will go to his abode. There is only who knows the meaning of Mukti and is situated in that consciousness. So, Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utaya. All these 5, if you see, Sarga, Visarga, Sarga is the work of Krishna. Visarga is the work of Brahma. Sthanam, Poshanam, again work of Lord only, but it depends on our consciousness. That how we take his shelter in every planetary system and understand that Lord is protecting us in every planetary system. If we don't have that consciousness, we will be just stuck in the Sukaya, karmic actions. And that is where we will be again put in the wheel of karma. So then, Manvantara, Lord appears to kill our demonic tendency. That is where devotees also appear. So that devotees can praise Lord and others can, devotees can reclaim conditioned people. So this conditioning because of that Utayaha is removed by Lord coming to this planetary system and the devotees coming. That is why devotees' activities has to be glorified along with Lord's activities. Then comes the whole planetary systems which can become dissolved. Everything has to be dissolved. Resolution happens. In that, only those who understand their position will attain Nitya. Okay, this is how nine subject matters has been defined. Okay, then Ashray Tattva is in the 7th verse. Okay, Vandana Mataji, read. You have the book,
Yes, ma'am.
Bade Prabhu, do you have the book? You can also read. Okay, you
Shall
read.
I?
Yeah, read.
निरोधो अस्यानुशयनम् आत्मनः सह शक्तिभिः मुक्तिर्हित्वा नथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः. The merging of the living entity along with his conditional living tendency with the mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called the winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies. As we have discussed several times, there are two types of living entities. Most of them are ever liberated or nitya muktas, while some of them are ever conditioned. The ever conditioned souls are apt to develop a mentality of lording over the material nature. And therefore, the material cosmic creation is manifested to give the ever conditioned souls two kinds of facilities. One facility is that the conditioned soul can act according to his tendency to lord it over the cosmic manifestation, and the other facility gives the conditioned soul a chance to come back to Godhead. So, after the winding up of the cosmic manifestation, most of the conditioned souls merge into the existence of Mahavishnu, personality of Godhead lying in his mystic slumber, to be created again in the next creation. But some of the conditioned souls who follow the transcendental sound in the form of Vedic literatures and are thus able to go back to Godhead attain spiritual and original bodies after quitting the conditional gross and subtle material bodies. The material conditional bodies develop out of the living entities forgetfulness of their relationship with Godhead. And during the course of the cosmic manifestation, the conditioned souls are given a chance to revive their original status of life with the help of revealed scriptures, so mercifully compiled by the Lord in his different incarnations. Reading or hearing of such transcendental literatures helps one become liberated even in the conditional state of material existence. All the Vedic literatures aim at devotional service to the personality of Godhead. And as soon as one is fixed upon this point, he at once becomes liberated from conditional life. The material, gross, and subtle forms are simply due to the conditioned soul's ignorance. And as soon as he is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, he becomes eligible to be freed from the conditioned state. This devotional service is transcendental attraction for the Supreme on account of his being the source of all pleasing humors. Everyone is after some pleasure of humor for enjoyment, but does not know the supreme source of all attraction. Raso vai sah rasam hi evayam labdhavanadi bhavati. The Vedic hymns inform everyone about the supreme source of all pleasure. The unlimited fountainhead of all pleasure is the personality of Godhead, and one who is fortunate enough to get this information through transcendental literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam becomes permanently liberated to occupy his proper place in the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. So Mukti has been given. Now Ashraya Tattva. This is the 9 subject matters which needs explanation and which needs Vedic evidences and also Anjasa. Sometimes to give explanation indirectly. Now let us see what is Ashraya Tattva. So what is Nirodho? Along with the living entities, along with the energies winding up. That is Nirodha. 11th canto speaks about it. 12th canto speaks about Mukti. 10th canto what it speaks. Abhashascha nirodhascha yatosti adhyavashite vasiyate yatosti adhyavasiyate sashrayah param brahma paramatmeti shabdyate आभासश्च निरोधश्च यतोऽस्त्यध्यवसीयते साश्रयः परं ब्रह्म परमात्मीति शब्दते आभासत the cosmic manifestation and nirodha and its winding up cha also yataha from the source asti he is adhyavasiyate become manifested sa he Ashraya, reservoir. Param, the supreme, Brahma, being, Paramatma, the super soul, iti thus Shaktiti called. The Supreme One, who is celebrated as a Supreme Being or the Super Soul, is the supreme source of cosmic manifestation as well as its reservoir and winding up. Thus, he is the supreme fountainhead, the absolute truth. So, about the Ashraya Tattva has been spoken. Who is that Ashraya? He is the one who is the source of everything. He is the one who has created everything. He is the one who is dissolving also everything. That supreme person is a fountainhead. He is that Ashraya. Sa Ashraya Param Brahma. He is that person. Paramatmeti Shabdate. He is the same person who is super soul also. He is a supreme being. He is a super soul. He is a supreme source. He is the he is a supreme source as well as he is a reservoir. He is a supreme source of all the cosmic manifestation as well as his reservoir and winding up. So he is that supreme person who is the Ashraya. So Ashraya Tattva, the Ashraya Bhagavan, from whom arise creation, subcreation, protection, mercy, karma, dharma, everything. Even the avatars, destruction, liberation, everything emanates from that Paramatma. He is that Brahman. So he is that Brahman, he is that Paramatma, he is that Ashraya. That is why it is said, Bahunam Janmanavante Gyanvanman Prapatete Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. To understand that Vasudeva, he is that same person. He is person also, he is Brahman also, he is Paramatma also. Three things. Vasati iti sarvatra Vasudeva Vishuddha Sattvam Vasudeva Shabditam Sarvam Vasati Sarvam iti Vasati Vasudeva. So this Ashraya refers to understanding that same person. He is a person first. That is why he is creating. Only person can create. He is a person. He is super soul. He is Brahman. Three things have been spoken. You see this? Abhasascha nirodhascha. Abhasascha nirodhascha. This cosmic manifestation has been created. Only person can create. Na? So first line speaks about the person. He winds up also. That same Ashraya is Paramatmeti. Is Paramatma. The same Ashraya Tattva is that Brahman. Brahman, Paramatma, they are impersonal form of Lord. But personal form of Lord is Bhagavan aspect. So that has been given in the first line. He is Bhagavan, Ati Bhagyavan, to create and to dissolve also. One can create, but even to destroy, one should have that power. Like you made a nice, wonderful something and you want to destroy it. For that also power is required. You cannot destroy your own creation. But Lord has the power to destroy his own creation, dissolve his own creation. It's Lord's will. He will create, he will generate, he will maintain, he will dissolve. So he is that person. At the same time, he is Brahman, present in each and every atom, molecule, everything. And he is the same Paramatma who is residing in everyone's heart. So this is Ashraya. And that is why that words, Bahunam Janmana Vante Gyanvanman Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. Very rare people understand this Ashraya Tattva. It takes thousands and thousands of lifetime to understand that same person is Brahman, the same person is Paramatma, and the same Paramatma is that supreme person. So it takes thousands and thousands of lifetimes. Even a Jnani cannot understand this. Yogi cannot understand this. But because of the association of devotee, and that too after spending a lot of lifetimes, the person comes to this knowledge, and this is known as Ashraya. Ashraya is taken to a person. You cannot take Ashraya to something impersonal. You can take shelter of a person, Ashraya Tattva. This Ashraya also refers to how Lord residing in our heart, in our consciousness, has given us ashraya. Don't think that Lord has taken ashraya in our body. Lord has given us ashraya, shelter, by being with us in our body. So that is why our consciousness is sheltered by Lord. Every molecule, atom is sheltered by Lord, by His presence. There is not a single place where Lord is not there. Satyam vidhatum nijabhakta bhashidam. Lord has proved the words of Prahlad Maharaj. The Lord is present in the pillar also. There is not a single place where Lord has not given His shelter. So it is not the Lord taking the shelter, no. It is the atoms, molecules, every place has taken shelter of Lord. And that is how the Lord is the source of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Okay. Raksha, read the last verse.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Shloka 7. Abhasascha nirodhascha yato satyadaya vasiyate sa ashraya param brahma परमात्मेति सभ्यते. माताजी, अगर एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ कोई बोलते हैं तो उसमें सब तीन ऑल थ्री फीचर्स आ जाते हैं ना माताजी.
वदन्ति
एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ
तत्त्वविदस्तत्त्वं ज्ञानमद्वयं
हाँ.
ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शुद्धते.
Yes, yes. Translation. The Supreme One who is celebrated as a Supreme Being or the Supreme Soul is the Supreme Source of the cosmic manifestation as well as its reservoir and winding up. Thus, He is the Supreme Fountainhead, the Absolute Truth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Synonymous of the Supreme Source of all energies as explained in the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam are Janmadasya yata vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanam adrayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. Call Parabrahma, Paramatma or Bhagwan. The word iti used here in this verse completes the synonym and thus indicates Bhagwan. This will be further explained in the later verses, but this Bhagwan ultimately means Lord Krishna because the Srimad Bhagavatam has already accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna. Krishna to Bhagwan Swayam. The original source of the energies or the Sanam Bonam is the Absolute Truth, which is called Parabrahma, etc. And Bhagwan is the last word of the Absolute Truth. But even with the synonyms of Bhagwan, such as Narayan, Vishnu, and Purusha, the last word is Krishna, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabho Matta Sarva Pravartate, etc. Besides that, the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is representation of the Lord Krishna as a sound incarnation of the Lord. Krishna Sudhamopagate Dharma Jnanadihi sa Kalonasta Drashame sa Purano ko Dunoditaha. Bhagavatam 1.3.43. That's why general conclusion, Lord Krishna is the ultimate source of all energies and the word Krishna means that. And to explain Krishna or the science of Krishna, the Srimad Bhagavatam has been prepared. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this truth is indicated in the question and answer by Sutta Goswami and great sages like Shonaka. And the first and second chapters of the canto, this is explained. In the third chapter, this subject is more explicit, and in the fourth chapter, even more explicit. In the second canto, the Absolute Truth as the personality of Godhead is further emphasized, and the indication is the Supreme Lord Krishna. The summary of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, as we have already discussed, is scient. This Supreme Personality of Godhead in the ultimate issue is confirmed by Brahma in his Brahma Samhita as Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So it is concluded in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The complete subject matter is elaborately explained in the 10th and 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the change of the Manus or Manvantaras, such as the Swayambhu Swayambhu Manvantara and Chakshusus Manvantara, as they are discussed in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna is indicated. In the 8th canto, the Vishwasas Manvantara explains the same subject indirectly. And in the 9th canto, the same purport is there. In the 12th canto, the same is further explained. Specifically regarding the different incarnation of the Lord, thus it is concluded by the studying the complete Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord Shri Krishna is the ultimate Samanbonam, or the ultimate source of all energy. And according to the grades of the worshippers, the indication of the nomenclature may be differently explained as Narayan, Brahma, and Paramatma, etc. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So, Mataji, it is our wish to study Srimad Bhagavatam entire life.
Next slide.
Right, Mataji? Yes. Mataji.
Okay. So stop here 8:30. I have the first batch. So any questions we'll take on Thursday.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.